I'm ready.
Hi, this is Erica Glessing, and you're here today on the Erica Glessing Show, and I have Tony Teegarden with me today. And hi, Tony, how are you?
I am Peachy. Hello. Thank you.
And you're calling me from, we're in Florida?
Tampa, Florida. That's right.
Tampa, Florida. Awesome sauce.
Yeah.
Where it's never winter. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, listen. Hey, that's why I moved here, because we got two temperatures, hot and hotter. That's it.
Hot and warm and
yeah,
sultry and nice and toes in the sand, right?
And very humid.
How far are you from the beach? The water?
From Clearwater Beach, I'm probably about 30 minutes.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. We've got a little park over here called Picnic Island, and it has its own little beach. It's not like an ocean type of beach, but it's private.
It's a nice. Yeah, Tampa's a little bit more protected.
Very, yeah. Not known
so,
for
I just want everyone listening to know that I brought Tony on because he has this gift of helping people like me, like self-help, gooey, ooey, mushy author, publisher types, right? You know, the sweet types that just like, you know, one of my friends was teasing me. He's like, so you write books about things that I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like, yes, that would be me.
It's the woo-woo.
It's the woo-woo girl. So go ahead and just kind of, I have to show this one. Oh my God. It matches my sweater.
There you go.
I know. So we're going to just chat a little bit about what stops us from making money. And just tell us a little bit about your background, Tony, and what brought you into wanting to do this kind of work.
Well, so, with me, I work with coaches and experts, authors, to basically translate their work into a high-ticket online group coaching program, right? So we help them to craft, articulate, pre-sell, and deliver this program, which is their body of knowledge, but delivering it in a way where they can leverage their time and their energy and just make a bigger impact a lot faster with a lot more people. And, of course, it makes a lot more money for them. And so, in this work and in the design of it, matter of fact, I've worked with people to help them to move through their challenges of, charging enough or feeling that they're quote unquote worthy enough to charge these higher prices. And so what got me started doing this work was years ago. I've actually, when I transitioned from one career into this online world, I literally was I was broke in a lot of ways, emotionally, spiritually, financially, eventually, just found myself in a really bad place after a divorce. And so I went probably on like a good 4 or 5 year journey of just self-discovery. Really, a lot of it was just me beating myself up, a lot of guilt, a lot of shame I was carrying. I'd make money, I'd get rid of it as soon as I had it. So, seeing how this show today is about, money and, and really the meaning that we assign to it, which is what I've discovered over the last years, or last couple of years is made a big difference in whether or not I make it and or keep it. I had to go through that journey. I had to go through that process. I had to go, what we say is nearly apostate in my belief, almost to the very edge of disbelief of, not only my connection to spirit, but my connection to, source, myself, and just really, had to go through that in order to get to a place where now I can appreciate, creating quote unquote monies, in abundance. Mm-hmm. Now there's a lot of words in that aspect and a lot of things that we talk about, but for me, it really comes down to creating value in the world. And I might get ahead of you here, but I've kind of answered your question, but we can kind of segue into this if you like. But for me, it really got down to eventually assigning meaning and having a different perspective around quote unquote money and abundance, and really creating that. And so
I'm gonna pause you there because one of the things I noticed for me is it seems like God, I have so many questions coming in. It's good. This is really cool. Mm-hmm. So, okay, I don't know how long it's going to go.
It's all good.
So one of the questions I had was, a lot of the people I work with, they'll get this great idea. I can read auras, or I can teach people how to clear their bad crap, or I can I have a facilitation ability to help people have more magical lives, Mm-hmm. So there's these kind of intangibles, and then I've found that they'll start something and then kind of give up, or start something and give up. What is the thing in there you think that like you've observed in all the people you've helped, all the people you've worked with, that will kind of help someone either get sanctioned feedback or figure out how to sustain this? Because it's like we're being called to help people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And then we'll put out a program or something and it'll be like crickets, like nothing shows up. And so what is it that you kind of see as a really long ass question, but
well, I get it, and let me pause you now. Your turn. No, I totally get it. So
we always have fun.
Not only have I helped people through that, but I went through it myself. I can't tell you how many times I created products and just completely chicken shit it out, and giving it away, not charging for it. Right?
I know. It's like, I really want to sell this. Oh my God, no one's buying it. Okay, here's my free crap.
Yeah, and you just give it away. So, what I discovered for me, it really comes down to, and I've learned this here recently with one of my new mentors, is, money flows to offers of perceived value. And I think what happened to me and what I've seen and observed and supported people in moving through is that they assign a lot of meaning around, I have this body of knowledge, this body of work I'm called to do. And they believe that people are going to buy what it is that they do, or they're hoping people buy what they do. And the problem is people don't buy what you do. They buy what they're missing in their lives. Okay. So what ends up happening is we get so attached. And so I call it the expert marketer conundrum. And, a lot of times people say that marketing and sales, it's icky, especially, coming from the quote unquote woo-woo world, which, by the way, I walk in both worlds. I walk in the woo-woo world, and I walk also in the very sequential, tangible, get shit done kind of world, right?
I know.
And so I appreciate both, because here's the thing. I started working on life coaching. I've done shadow work. I've done mirror work, light work. I mean, I've done, a lot of different things, neurolinguistics, and I've studied, patterns of personalities. And so I know what it's like to kind of go through a lot of these worlds. Shadow work changed my life. It actually probably saved my life in many ways, at least the quality of my life that I'm experiencing today as opposed to back then. But what happens is we get so attached to this body of knowledge, this body of work, and we're so close to it. And that's what I call the expert conundrum. We think that people should value what it is that we do and our background and our history and our calling and all these sort of things. And unfortunately, the vast majority of people don't. Now, every now and then a blind squirrel finds a nut, right? And so sometimes you'll come across somebody and it'll happen, and they'll bring them on board as a client. And they think that that's just manifestation, and that's the universe speaking, and it's proving to me. And don't get me wrong, I believe there's some truth to that. But if you want to get out in the world and actually create a value, you have to understand value is not what you have. Value is what your clients get.
Right. And I think, just to put in perspective for people, what I really like about what Tony does is the group model that he teaches gives you, I'm just going to say it, pretty much gives you your life back.
In a lot of ways. Because
if you're trained to build your life on one-on-one sessions with people, and it's just one, and then this person comes in, and then this person leaves, and you could have 40 hours a week of one-on-one sessions, and I couldn't even navigate that. Like, for me, I have to do the group thing in order to have the freedom I want. So I think, tell us a little bit, just jump into what a group offering, what is that, and what might people be able to do to start sort of shifting themselves into that awareness?
Well, let's kind of reverse backwards just a slight bit, and you'll hear me talk about this a lot. Money flows to offers of perceived value. Okay. So if you think about this for a second, are there bad people out there that make a lot of money? And I use the word bad relative because I don't really agree anymore with bad and good and mean and nice. But, if you really take a look at it, there are people out there that are not so nice people that are not really creating massive missions of transformation like a lot of maybe your clients or my clients are looking to do. They still make a lot of money. Why is that? It's because money doesn't really care. Money is very neutral in that essence. So what we really look at is that money flows to offers of perceived value. The reason why somebody can make offers, maybe in an industry that you and I would totally not be cool with, that would go against our value systems, it's because they know that crowd values what it is that they might be offering. It could be illegal drugs. It could be, all kinds of, bad
gambling or whatever.
It could be gambling, could be whatever. But see, money doesn't really care. Money only cares that it goes to where there is perceived value in exchange, right? So when we talk about, and the reason I want to preempt this is in stepping into, the group coaching model, is it's the same concept. A lot of coaches might say, well, Tony, like I'm a healer and I need to work, my stuff works one-on-one with people and that's how it's best done. And, matter of fact, I work best when I'm worked with one-on-one, right? So what I've discovered though, is that there are certain principles and concepts that if we were to sit down and extract certain steps and concepts, that chances are you would teach all of those concepts and those principles or those steps to each person that you're working with one-on-one.
True.
Instead of doing so one-on-one, non-leverage, leverage your service delivery and begin to translate, which is what I'm really good, is extracting all of these intangible, these gooey concepts, being able to extract those and be able to apply those into a framework, which I'm a really big fan of adult learning theory and learning frameworks. Put that in there and then be able to deliver those principles and those concepts in a recorded format where, you can take people through all of that and yet still provide maybe a live Q&A that week where you can do your, maybe some of your one-on-one kind of work to extrapolate or to excel their learning while other people get to listen. And some people go, well, I don't know that, clients would want to do that. I can tell you right now, I've done it in a lot, I've worked with healers, intuitives, and life coaches, and then, in a lot of other niches. And I'm going to tell you the bond that is created when you get, say, a group of 5 women. I've worked with vast majority of nothing but women, by the way. It's not been until this last year that I've started to, step more into the masculine, working more with men as well as women. But I can tell you right now, the bonds that are created, the level of transparency, the level of vulnerability that the group begins to display, the more other people, their belief systems begin to collapse and they begin to allow themselves to relax more into their own stuff and be more vulnerable because, Mindy maybe is being extremely vulnerable on the call and she's having this huge breakthrough in this aha moment and everybody's like a fly on the wall getting to listen and they also get to support. So
yeah, I definitely see that with my author groups. My group, I love teaching author now. I call it it used to be called authors. Now it's called author camp. Mm-hmm. And it's just, they come in and they could be at any stage they are, but one person will listen to why someone else is leaving their stuff on their hard drive. Mm-hmm. And then we'll go through, okay, why are you leaving your stuff on your hard drive? And then we'll do a process with one person who's I go, what does it give you, mm-hmm. By having it on your hard drive and not having it in people's hands? What's serving you about that? And then we'll jump into that. And pretty soon, bam, the other women on the call are chatting. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, that's my problem too. Or, oh my God, I don't want to be seen. Or, oh my God, you're right, I'd have to stand on that platform and I might get ridiculed. And oh my God, blah, blah, blah. And so then you see this cool train of mm-hmm. of ahas. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
So I had another question show up for me while you were talking. Mm-hmm. So I'm ADD, so it's really fun to watch my show.
No, really?
What did you wear yesterday? No,
I had no clue.
Someone asked me that once. Erica, do you think you're ADD? And I was like, what? Because
wait a minute. Hold on.
When I was a kid.
It's a bird. Hold on.
I actually have squirrels in my backyard, by the way, in case I ever need to watch anything. But because it's behind me right now. But this is the question I wanted to ask you. It's just so much fun. What is it that you see helps people go into the big ticket mode and just kind of communicate what that means? Instead of charging $35 for a class, charging $1,000, or instead of charging $900, charging $5,000, and kind of help us through that whole thing of shifting into that calibration, that different calibration of being, because this is really one of your sweet spots.
I mean, for me, there's a very, intangible side to that question, which, I know definitely people want to help people. When I work with my intuitives or healers or life coaches or people that are in that mode, I'm very empathetic because I come from, doing a lot of life coaching myself in the beginning. And I believe there's this this aspect where I know they want to help people, but they associate not charging very much to helping people because that means they think more people are going to access their material. When actually the exact opposite happens. This is part of the transition into high ticket, is that what I've discovered is that, the more that we charge, and now I'm going to preempt this, by the way, because there's a second piece to this is very, very important. Slapping a couple extra zeros on what you charge is not value. Okay. However, there is a certain attainment that when people, for something that's $97 as opposed to $9,700, instantly people think, okay, there's something more valuable about that higher ticket piece. Okay. And so, but there has to be a transition within ourselves to substantiate and validate. Otherwise we feel that we're out of integrity or we're incongruent by charging so much and not providing quote unquote value. Okay. So here's what needs to happen and this is what I support my clients in, is realizing you're not charging for your stuff. You're not charging for your background. You're not charging for what you know. You're not charging for the body of knowledge. You're not even charging for how much stuff they might get, like in the way of DVDs or CDs or audios or PDFs or videos. You're not charging for any of that. What you're charging the additional amount for is the gap and the challenge and the magnitude of the problem the person perceives by not solving that issue. Okay. So there goes from the standpoint of like, okay, I'll use an example, divorce. A divorce, if someone is, the average divorce runs around $50,000, and I'm probably being on the low side there. But if you've got kids, you've got assets, you've got home, you've got everything else, somebody might be, a divorce coach, and they're charging $125 an hour, to support people through divorce and maybe help save it. Well, what's missing is context here, because if you start to look at if the average divorce is $50,000, and I think it's probably more than that, but if we say it's $50,000, and not only there's that tangible cost of the money of $50,000, it's got to go to attorneys, and not even including like moving and transitioning to different locations and all these sort of things. But then you look at the intangible costs, like the cost to the children, right? The cost to both you, like with me, I went on probably a 4 to 5 year downward spiral after a divorce, and I didn't even have kids. And so the emotional costs, which were intangible, and then the tangible cost of my health, I gained weight, I lost money, I ruined my credit, there's all these things that I did. So, but now all of a sudden, if you come in as as a divorce coach and you say, well, listen, the difference is here, if we could resolve from having to go through divorce, actually support you both in falling in love again, finding the true depth of love that you had for one another when you very first began, discovering where that maybe fell apart, and helping you to realign yourselves, and saving you the $50,000, saving you the lost time and energy, the children, the cost there. We could only, and it was only $5,000, right? And we're going to work together and we're going to resolve this in 6 weeks. I mean, now all of a sudden it becomes less about, you charging for all of your stuff and what you do. What it comes down to is you're now charging to help them get what it is that they're missing in their lives. They're missing that connection. They're missing that love. They're missing that, that substantial connection that they had when they were very first in love and got together. Right.
Yeah.
So what we're doing and what happens to moving into high ticket. And now there's another piece of this I want to cover, is that not only are we, charging for the gap, the difference in solving that issue, okay, but what also happens is that $5,000, it's not a little bit of money, and it's not $50,000, so it's not a lot of money, but what it is, it's a demonstration of an individual's commitment to follow through and receive that outcome. Right. And that commitment at $5,000 is going to be a lot more. Right. Follow through, and their commitment to do the work and to work with you and do that is going to be far greater than 500.
True. That's interesting, because I have a couple classes running right now, and one of them was pretty low budget, and I did it for a short period of time. Mm-hmm. And one of them is like deeper, more commitment, more intensity. Those calls are so good, and it's 100% attendance. It's like I have 5. Not one has missed one in 6 weeks.
Yeah, right.
It's like,
well, because there's a value there. Yeah, there's a value there.
The other one, it was kind of a light one I just threw out there for fun. And I swear to gosh, like, the people show up late. There's like, it's just, luckily there's only 2 more classes left of that one. But it was like I charged less, and I won't do that again. That was a really not fun experience. And I think I was motivated by the same thing of trying to get my material to more people, to help more people. Like help them help more. I was motivated. My motivation was good. Bye, honey. Honey's going to work. My motivation was awesome, but the results sucked. Yeah, because I went the wrong direction. Asking for more. In fact, I kind of asked for less by accident.
Yeah. Well, there's a crossroads, like I said, of the price of the program demonstrates their level of commitment to follow through, because our coaching and mentoring is only as good as the client's ability to commit. Not only is that demonstrated by the dollar amount that they invest, but it's also demonstrated by their understanding, their certainty and their clarity of the gap of where they are and where they're going to and where they want to be. And not only is it based on that gap of where they are, but how much. See, the challenge is a lot of people, when they don't invest, when they don't follow through, I take full responsibility. At the same time, there is this level of understanding, or in their case, misunderstanding, that because they're not going to move forward, that they think life is going to just be okay. It's not going to get any worse. It won't be that bad. I'll be fine. I'll be okay. But the truth is, if we really dig into it, you're either growing or you're not.
Yeah.
One of two things. And so if they continue on the same path, we've got to help them to make sure that they're increasing that quality of life. They're increasing that vibration of which they're operating at, to speak more in maybe terms of healers and intuitives and whatnot. There's a level of vibration that a person needs to calibrate at. And so, if they think that if they don't move forward with you, that life's going to be okay and it won't be that bad. Truth is, it's not true. Unless they do something drastically to shift or to change, you have to believe, and I have to believe, that I am here to help this person and I can help this person. And if they don't invest with me, it's actually harmful to their outcomes, because chances are they're going to continue the same behaviors, the same actions, the same beliefs, the same perspectives, and it's going to lead them to not just the same type of crappy results, but they'll get worse.
Right. Because I think one of the things that I do, because, I've been talking about doing some of my own coaching, and one of the things I do is I'll do what if I were dead practice. So I'll float over my timeline and I'll go, what would I regret that I didn't do?
Yeah.
Here's the advantage, is you don't have to go to the hospital and have a near-death experience. You can kind of tune into what would my near-death experience be like personally, without having to actually have one.
Yep.
So that you can because I was completely shocked when I got the download in my head of what I would regret, because I had read in all the books that I'd regret more time with my loved ones. That wasn't my regret, because I spend lots of time with my loved ones.
Yeah,
so I'm already there. I chose that already. I work from home and my kids have lots of access to me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the thing that I regretted was in my professional space as I was dying. And it's like they say you never regret, I think I must have read 1,000,000 times, you don't regret that part. And then when I went over to my own specific regrets, it was so different than I thought. And so I guess where I'm going with this is just when you work with making that shift, making that change, you don't wait till a near-death experience. Don't wait till you've hit rock bottom. Don't wait till everything has turned to crap. You can actually start now just by it's not a force, but it's a training yourself to see what would happen if I didn't change,
Yeah. And therein lies the challenge. A lot of people, we can tell them that, we can speak to them, but it's the limbic, right? It's the emotional aspect of our brain. That's the only piece that's going to matter. So we can talk to the neocortex and tell them all of that knowledge. But Most of the time, what you just said is going to bounce right off their metal helmet into ourselves. But with me, what I've discovered is and I teach a process inside my program called Conversations That Convert. I love yeses. I appreciate no's. It's in-betweens and maybes I don't tolerate. And so, I have a very cool way I have conversations with people, after, that they've applied to want to work with me. I don't work with everybody. Giving me money is not a prerequisite to work with me. It's only a demonstration of your level of commitment, to follow through on what we agree on. But those conversations that we have are specifically for me to find out if in fact, where you're at. And, they're very cool conversations. As a matter of fact, it's 90% of my person I'm speaking to, they're doing all the talking. I'm asking the questions.
Nice.
And so, we bring it to a level, and it's not icky. It's sales. Don't get me wrong, but it's a very congruent way for me to find out, and for also the person I'm speaking to discover that, wow, I'm really, I'm not comfortable with being here anymore. So it's kind of as close as you can get to that quote unquote near-death experience where they can actually shift. I don't believe that they're going to shift completely, but what it's going to do is it's going to be the precipice. It's going to be that piece that they need to get off of where they are and start moving into where they want to actually be.
Well, tell me just a little bit real quick for our listeners, then we'll make sure people know how to reach you and find you with you more. Tell me how quick it is, because I think that was surprising to me when you first started explaining what it is that you do. Mm-hmm. Like, you can help people turn around. Like, I think you were telling me one example where the person just turned themselves around. Like, it seemed like within weeks.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had people that have, generated, 14,000, 20,000, 30,000 in a matter of, a couple of weeks of working with me in the program. Now to manage some expectations, some of those people have assets already to work with. They have email lists, or they have people they've got a, decent following on Facebook. Right. Some of those things, if that's the case, then I can really help them to get some really big results. But with me, what I do is I don't have my clients create the actual program itself, like, the videos or any of that kind of stuff. We actually just do a really solid outline, based on adult learning theory and learning frameworks. And so that they can go out and then actually sell that concept because it's so tangible, based on what we've actually done. And I've had people that have done, $30,000 in pre-sales, of their program, meaning people said, I want it, I love it, here's money. 3,000, 5,000, whatever the dollar amount is. And literally, then after they've gotten credit cards in hand and money's in the bank, then they actually deliver and create the content. And, creating that content is a lot more fun when you've got 30K in the bank, as opposed to when you're spending, 2-3 months creating everything, hoping, that people are going to buy it. And 9 times out of 10, what ends up happening is those
right. Well, that's a perfect segue into how do we reach you? Where can we find you? And I recommend everyone get on Tony's list. So definitely go to his site, get his podcast. He has a great podcast. Yep. I was on there once talking about publishing. Yes, we had fun.
Yep, you were on there. We had a lot of fun.
We had so much fun. So, tell us how to reach you and your website and all that.
Yep, you can go to, it's just my name, Tony, Tony, and then Teegarden. It's like a golf tee and a rose garden, but it's all one word, Teegarden. It's Teegarden. So you go to TonyTeegarden.com. On the front page there is my podcast. I call it the Turn Your Problems into Profit. I'm not profit driven, but I certainly like money because I can help a lot more people when I'm rich than if I'm poor. So, I believe that there's this concept of taking our problems, our challenges, our setbacks, leveraging those into inspiring stories, and turning that into an impact that actually turns around and not only profits you, but it profits you emotionally, spiritually, physically, and along the same lines as well with your relationships and, of course, your clientele. So it's kind of like the big picture behind it. But if they go there, they can also go to the blog. I've also got a case study that they can, in the navigation, you click on. It's my $25,000 case study, which basically just breaks down. It's about a 30-minute video. It breaks down, how you can begin to leverage into this group service delivery model. And it's how I've generated a $25,445 per month income, just from this entire model. So they can go there and they can get that. There's also another option there. They can download what's called the coaching fees calculator. And what I've discovered is a lot of coaches, as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of intangibleness, a lot of conceptualness. And so how do they refine or even define what they charge for their services. And so that's a really cool tool. And there's a tutorial that goes along with it that they can download. When they do those, they'll get on the list, and then they'll get pretty frequent updates from me around all kinds of cool stuff. So
awesome. Thank you for coming.
You bet. Absolutely. Glad I could be here. And if there's anything else I can do, I'm here to do it. Bye.